Okay, so here is my note to people who work in the food industry and when it comes to food allergies and food restrictions. It's extremely frustrating as a person with food allergies and as a mom with children with food sensitivities to where either the people who wait on us either seem to feel like we're trying to offend them by asking questions about the food that we're going to be being served, or we ask questions to make sure we're not going to be making ourselves sick and our requests are being ignored, or they just try to give us what they think the answer is instead of taking the time to find out for sure. This is a very dangerous thing that people in the food service are doing, and I find it even more difficult when I ask all the right questions and I still get something and today, for example, it was in my coffee. I go out of my way to make sure I bring soy milk with me when I plan on stopping at Dunkin' Donuts for a coffee because I think the almond milk in coffee is gross. So I bring soy milk with me so that I can add it to the coffee that I order. Today, Dunkin' Donuts just recently came out with an almond joy flavoring and it looked good, so I asked if I could have it, and I said that I wanted it as long as it did not contain dairy. The girl said okay, got my coffee, got across the street and opened up my coffee, and there was definitely dairy in the coffee. When I went back, she seemed confused. She said that she just thought I didn't want any cream in my coffee, which is a completely separate issue, obviously. And then she said she wasn't sure, that she could ask her manager because they would know offhand as she's skimming over the ingredients label, and said that she didn't see anything on there and asked if I wanted to look at the label. So I go ahead and look at the label, and at the very bottom it says very clearly contains dairy, contains milk. If she does not know, she should have just gone and asked her manager or taken a look at the bottle, or just said, sorry, I don't know, and then I just wouldn't have asked for it. We've been to restaurants before where they've served corn chips, and sometimes corn chips contain wheat, especially if they're homemade. So we asked if the corn chips that were put on the table as a pre-appetizer contained any gluten, and she said that she assumed not because they were made with corn. I asked her if she could go and check, and I was given a lot of attitude when I really just didn't want to be sick. It was not meant to offend her or her knowledge. She went into the back and asked the chef, and sure enough, they did contain wheat. So if I would have taken her word for it, myself and my husband would have been very sick. We don't ask these questions to make people mad. We don't do it to inconvenience our wait staff. We don't do it to make your lives harder. We do it to make our lives much easier, because I really do not enjoy being in the bathroom for 24 hours while also trying to take care of 3 small kids. It makes life very difficult, and it makes it even more upsetting when we try to go out and we're made to feel like we're being evil and asking these questions. So if you're in the food service industry and you have customers that come up to you and they want to ask you questions about details in the menu, I don't expect everybody to know everything when it comes to food allergens, but if you don't know, to admit it and go ask. Because if you don't know, it's okay. I'll just order something else that I do know is safe. It's not a problem. But just try to treat people with respect and don't assume, because assuming can make people really sick. All right, everybody, stepping off my soapbox for the day. Just my general PSA. See ya.